that throughout the whole of 19th century, the main purpose of journalism in Slovenia was nation and language building. In 1797, we got our first newspaper in Slovene language, which was quite early for the region. But after that, until the middle of 19th century, we had nothing in Slovene. And only later in the second half of the 19th century, we got a little bit more newspapers, and the first daily newspaper appeared in 1873. Slovenia at the time was a part of Austrian Empire, later to become Austrian-Hungarian Empire, and the language wasn't taught in schools at all, Slovene language. The schools were introduced, of course, by Maria Theresia, but the language that was taught in schools until the later part of 19th century was German. So Slovene was basically spoken by poorer people in rural areas. So until the 20th century, we cannot even speak about genres in Slovene journalism, only about the basic form in the style of inverted pyramid, and a little bit of interesting thing that has something to do with literary journalism. The first articles, of course, were not written in inverted pyramid form, but in the traditional literary way of beginning, middle, and end. And another thing that is important for Slovenia, that the inverted pyramid style is not connected, as it's known for American journalism, to the appearance of telegraph, because we had a special rubric, special part of newspaper called telegrams, and they were again written in the beginning, middle, and ending. The feature story, or the reportage as we call it in Slovenia, became a genre of its own with some usefulness basically during World War II. And we can start talking about some literary journalism in Slovenia only after the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, when a big magazine, an important magazine for Slovenia with a circulation of 70,000. If I tell you that our national daily newspaper now has 70,000 and it's dropping, you can see how big circulation was of that magazine, called Tovariš, which means companion, was a promoter of such kind of writing. And the interesting thing is that they even call themselves literary journalists, even though they didn't know of literary journalism, new journalism, or Tom Wolfe at all. They did know about Roman Capote and In Cold Blood, and about Norman Mailer, The Armies of the Night, because The Armies of the Night was translated into Serbo-Croatian. And only now in Slovenia we have In Cold Blood and we have Executioner's Song, but we still don't have any Tom Wolfe.